Great train robber Ronnie Biggs has died at the age of 84. He'd been ill for some time. Ronnie Biggs was part of the gang which stole more than £2 million in 1963 by holding up a mail train. He was jailed for his part in the robbery, but later escaped from prison and fled to Brazil. Just a warning now that Neil Pattison's report contains quite a lot of flash photography in places.
The Great Train robbery captured the public's imagination and made the gang household names, but none more famous than Ronnie Biggs. In reality, he played a minor role in the crime, but his escape from prison and life on the run made him iconic.
It's pleasurable to feel that that you've made it. You know, you struggle through life to be somebody, and finally, even if it's only a cockeyed fame, I did sort of get somewhere. You know.
All telegraph wires in the area were cut to hamper any hue and cry.
The Great Train robbery leader was himself on the run in Mexico at the time Biggs mounted his dramatic escape from prison.
I said to Buster, you won't believe this, but Ronnie Biggs has escaped. Quite spectacularly as well. So I felt very happy for him, and in my own way I felt that our team had won a victory.
His continued evasion of justice was a source of huge embarrassment for British authorities, never more so than in 1977, when Biggs parted with sailors aboard a British frigate.
Within a minute or two, the whole ship knew who was on board, and in the mess, there was cans of beer were coming left, right and centre at him. I got a secret message to go and see the Officer of the Day again, so I did this, and he said, get rid of him.
Detective Chief Superintendent Jack Slipper was to spend more than 2 decades trying to extradite Biggs back to the UK.
I don't think it's important to bring him back now. It was, when I went in 74, it was still active. He was still a fairly young man. He still could go out on the streets, no doubt, and be a member of a team. But he's been out now 28 years. And as far as I'm concerned, he's rehabilitated himself.
He was a doting father to his Brazilian-born son Michael, but Biggs' health was failing, and with the proceeds of the robbery long gone, he couldn't afford treatment. 31 years after he'd arrived in Rio, Ronnie Biggs flew home to surrender to police.
I'm John Coles, Detective Chief Superintendent of New Scotland Yard. Please, something he said.
Despite continued efforts to secure his freedom, Biggs remained in prison for years, until the decision was taken to release him on compassionate grounds. Unable to walk, unable to speak, and on constant medication, he still released his autobiography 2 years later in what was supposed to be his last public appearance. Yet in March this year, he was on unrepentant form as he attended the funeral of Bruce Reynolds. Those who spoke to Ronnie Biggs over the years discovered that the Great Train robber was never apologetic about his life. A line from Shakespeare's Measure for Measure was his favourite quote.
They say better men are moulded out of faults, and for the most become much more the better for being a little bad. I think that suits me to a T.
Neil Pattison, Sky News.